Hello, race fans, and welcome to Suzuka. We're here for round 3 of the oNiD 2022 GT3 Championship, where we are in. Sorry, I had some feedback there. As we are in Suzuka, Japan, we're coming up to halfway through the 6-round season, and we're here at the 3.6 mile circuit. As many of you will know it from Formula One, and there isn't a sim racing title out there that does not feature Suzuka, I suspect. For those of you unfamiliar, I'll quickly talk you through. It is an 18 corner circuit, 3.61 miles, which is 5.81 kilometers, involving the first right hand turn. The drivers will then go through the Senna S's, the Dunlop curve, through Degner 1 and the sharp right-hander Degner 2, where they will go under the bridge. Turn 10 is a slight kink to the right before the 180-degree hairpin for turn 11. The road then sweeps down and to the right through 12, an excellent opportunity there for slipstreaming before reaching turns 13 and 14 that make up the infamous spoon curve. Then it's a long dash down to corner 15, more famously referred to as 130R, of course, this location of many amazing overtaking maneuvers, before the drivers hit the brakes hard for corners 16, 17, and 18, better known as the Casio Triangle, where, of course, Senna and Prost come together before making their last dash to the line to set a lap time. We should be looking at lap times around the 2-minute mark. The 2-minute mark this evening. We've got our pro drivers, silver drivers, and AM drivers, and it's a very technical circuit, so it'll be very interesting to see how we get on. Of course, I'm not here alone. I'm joined by technical partner and hopefully co-commentator a little bit as well, Dan Hyde of Kedden Computers. Dan, how are you this evening?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, I'm not having a bad one. Say, always sort of a little bit, you get a bit sleepy sort of in Sunday evenings, and then the racing's back on, it sort of wakes you up again.
Yeah, it's a Sunday, so you're thinking when you want an early night before you get up on a Monday to go to work.
It is a school night, as they say. And we've, of course, have our featured driver, Julian Bell, this week in the studio. Julian, do you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone.
Julian, how have the first 2 rounds been for you, in your opinion?
Don't know if you're mocking me, but it hasn't gone great so far. Qualifying's gone well both those rounds, but I've had various issues, which have, yeah.
'Cause I'm just looking through the Barcelona results, and I can't actually see your name in the Barcelona results. Do you
No,
want to?
'cause I didn't complete a single lap other than the formation lap, because I obviously it was a wet quali, and I didn't load the setup for the race, so I was still on wet tyres, but I didn't notice, and it was a dry race start, obviously, so I was driving around on the formation lap wondering, like, why are my tyres so hot? Then I realised I was on wet, and I tried to pit, but doesn't. Apparently, I learned afterwards that it doesn't let you pit after the formation lap. You have to actually complete the first lap to be able to pit. So it ended with a DNF, unfortunately.
Oh, you're not going to make that same mistake again, though. That's a painful lesson to learn, but
Yeah, I've learned my lesson now.
your lesson. Is Suzuka a circuit you particularly enjoy?
No. I did a 9-hour endurance race here yesterday in the AMG, and let's just say it was interesting. The AMG is a very, it doesn't really fit my driving style. I've learned the hard way. But so far the Aston is a lot nicer to drive.
I've driven the Aston. Yeah, I felt it was a very beginner-friendly car. It's a very balanced car where you can wring the neck out of it without buying a setup or having to develop a setup. But once drivers around you are doing their setups, it possibly isn't the quickest car out there. I don't think we've got many Astons on the grid. But a little more about you personally. I think you got into sim racing watching Jimmy Broadbent. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. I think with quite a few people actually on that. Watched him and wanted a steering wheel. Essentially, was how it went.
Now, Jimmy Broadbent out there. For those of you who don't know, Jimmy Broadbent is a He's a niche, small time. I think he's a small time streamer. Not many people know about him, but no, he's gone on to race for Praga in the Brit Car series, as well as having to do some other races in other similar series to get his license up. So I believe an international C license it could be. British licenses go national B, national A, and then international C, B, A. Similar to how you would do it in Gran Turismo, but except for license tests, you have to do 10 races and you sort of get a signature, like a Starbucks stamp on your card to say you've completed a race. Have you ever sort of done any real life racing on private tracks, not on the road, of course?
No, I've rental karts as far as I've gone.
Oh, where have you been?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of kart tracks in the west of Sweden, where I live.
Are you Swedish? You don't sound Swedish.
No, I'm half Swedish. I'm half Brit, but I've grown up in Sweden. So
I've not been to Sweden. I've been to Denmark, and it was I was in Copenhagen, so we could see the Malmo Bridge. I don't know if you're near that.
no, I'm a bit further north on the west coast. Yeah, we make a lot of fun of Denmark.
Yeah, I noticed there was a bit of a rivalry between Denmark and Sweden. I was about to start singing Prince of Bel-Air, but I won't. People listening might be thinking you've got quite a light voice. It might surprise them. How old are you?
15.
He's 15 years old, and we're going to help him stay on the straight and narrow. He's not going to have any money for drugs because he's spent it all on sim racing equipment. As we well, good luck today. I've got to head to the first qualifying session as the AMs are out on track now, as Sam Roughton is the first car we see in the black and red BMW M4, brand new GT3 car with that big bucktooth grin, and it's another rainy session we've got. That he's just tiptoeing around the center S's. Nobody else seems to be out on track at the moment. We've got, there's Olivier Guerra, who has just set the fastest lap at 2:19.042. Those lap times are sure to come down. The track is absolutely soaked. And they're going to be waiting for a dry line. The track will be developing over the course of this qualifying session. Dan, do you have any? I'll just put it out there. Do you have any sort of predictions or drivers who impressed you last week with their confidence in the rain?
Sam Roughton did, but unfortunately, I believe he's already
He's
done
vanished.
one lap and disappeared. So I think he hit track limits on his first lap round because he didn't actually set a lap time. So when we went to him, he was already on his second flying lap, but hadn't set a lap time yet.
That's right. Now we're following Olivier Guerra, who's slightly up. He's just sort of on par at the moment with his best lap. Now, in the dry, we were watching these guys go around at 2:0, 2:1, something like that. Obviously, if the weather stays the way it is, they're not going to be reaching those times. As Gabriel Simoes at 2:14, so that is an absolutely. And now Dixon Hurst at 2:15, so the times are starting to come down. This is much, it's going to be more reflective of what we're going to be seeing as he goes by in the, I believe it's the DB9, but not the Vantage. It's the V12 model, if I'm
the V12 Vantage.
And that is a car with a great sound. I prefer the V12 in sound to the V8. How about you?
Oh yeah, the V12 definitely sounds better than the new Mercedes V8 powered GT3 vehicle.
Is it a Mercedes engine in the Aston?
Yeah, so the new GT3 and GT4 have the same engine as the Mercedes AMG.
Oh, well. Paint me shocked. I didn't know that. I don't follow GT3 as closely as I should, but I always assumed it must have been manufactured in-house by Aston Martin. But hey-ho, as Sam Roughton, he's back with us, and he's on top again with a 2:13.7, and he's already half a second up as he winds his way through the Senna S's. Head sort of a slight incline. There's a bit of a twitch there as he's making his way through the Dunlop curve. And that rain is really not letting up. There's not a hint of blue sky around there. Dixon Hurst coming down. He's got a bit of a slipstream there behind one of the Ferraris. And that's a 2:13.9. So it's starting to bunch up a little bit. We should have about 10 or 12 AM drivers. So it doesn't look like we've got everyone with us today, Dan. Or
It
are
looks
some
like we've
drivers
got about
in the
8 on
pits?
track at the moment. 9, 10, 11.
I'm wondering if some are
We've
in the
got 12
pits
on
just
track. We've got 12 on track at the moment, but some are a bit lower down.
because
So they haven't
it's
set a lap time yet.
they want to get going soon because it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a half-hour session and the three groups, three categories get 10 minutes each.
Yeah, that's correct. And as long as you've started your final lap before your 10-minute section is over, you can complete that lap. So they've got around just over a minute before they need to start their final qualifying lap.
So, yeah, I am right then. We've only got 8 times on the board at the moment, which, yeah, it's definitely a few AM drivers not with us.
It
This
looks like
time.
Sam's going to set an even quicker time this time round.
I mean, I can't see. We've got Hurst, but I can't see Medina or Morel or Depper or Jackson. We've got Van der Veen.
Morel's down in 34th at the minute. Jackson's
So-
in 38th.
So they've
Depper in
not put laps
25th.
in.
They've not put in, so they've only done outlaps so far. Medina's down in 23rd.
Well, they're going to need to put in a time.
So
They're gonna need
Medina
to
looks like he
start a
set
lap.
a lap, but it didn't count. So he did a 2:17, but I don't think it counted due to track limits.
So if things stay the way they are at the moment, they will be starting at the back of the grid. Unless they want to do
Yes.
any last-minute setup changes, which can bring on a pit lane start, I think.
But due to
Van der
them
Veen's
being
yellow.
AM, they're going to be near the back anyway, aren't they?
They
Probably yellow because they're probably quit into the pits.
I thought you might have caused. I thought that was causing a yellow flag somewhere, but
Yeah, they pull
everybody
over to the
seems to be
side of
going
the
on the map.
track.
We've just passed the 10-minute mark of qualifying, so that is the AMS session over. They're welcome to finish their flying laps, of course, and then they will head in as the Silvers head on track. And you'll see on the bottom right of the screen a nice steady stream of cars making their way out of the pit lane now. The Silver class is at the moment being dominated by James Suckling in the number 5 BMW. But of course, other drivers in the Silver class include Eckert, Van Rooyen, Vest, Black, not Rowson, Ashley, Jelinek, Botha, Van Oosenen, Stack, Watts, with 3 T's for some reason.
What it is.
Black, Ashley, sorry, I've gone through them, Allen, and Stein. So hopefully we've got all of them with us today. Because it
As we
would be
see
a shame.
Samo's crossing the line and puts it on provisional pole.
So that is provisional pole for Gabriel Samoas, but I mean, he'll be lucky to keep that. I mean, if the weather stays as it is, it may help him. If the weather starts to dry up, then people are going to start really going faster. But everybody going now is in higher groups as Sam Ralston comes to finish his last lap, and it looks like he's 3/4 of a second up. And he takes that provisional pole position away convincingly by 3/4 of a second with a 2:11.647. Impressive stuff. And it looks like Alex Depper's the first of the Silvers to put. No, he's still out on track. So he's still out on track, and he's 1/3 of a second up on his best.
He should be coming into pits because I think he's only just finished his lap. So yeah, looks like he's pulled over.
He is into the pits now. It's a very sort of Force India. It reminded me of Force India, that 911 with the green, white, and orange livery. It's quite a nice one. As the cars come around the silver category now to start their flying laps, one of the Bentleys just backed off there. I think that was number 420.
I think he's moving out the way for.
I think he was. Yeah, I think.
Garoa.
But if he was on an out, yeah, he must. Yeah, he's not part of the AM club and the. So Figueroa Senior, he's
up to 5th.
Sure
so he's pulling over.
I thought they were on their. I thought they're on their outlap, so they're a lap ahead of what I was thinking. So they were on the ball very quickly. As we've got 17 minutes left of the session. We're looking at Ralph Vest now, as we got the Vaseline branded. What was it? Tugging is racing. Whoa,
Yeah.
a snap of oversteer there for the McLaren of, what was I saying, Vest? Snap of
Yeah.
oversteer there, nearly sent him into the wall. The Vaseline Tuggings Racing is back on the move again. There's lots of runoff space at Suzuka. I'll check this now because we usually only check this at the end, but can everybody watching hear me okay? Do I need to be louder? Do I need to be quieter? Just let us know in the chat and we can get that sorted. So yeah, Ralph Vest in what I like to think of as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sort of livery, but I can't remember which turtle wore the purple bandana. Can you?
I can't either.
Tell us
Quick
in the
Google
chat if
should
anyone
help.
can remember. No, don't Google it. Don't Google it. You're not allowed
Yeah.
to Google it. Let people in the chat. Somebody will be
Yeah.
going, I know. That would be that, bit of useless trivia knowledge that they're like, it's my time to shine because I know this.
Probably the
Not
one
like,
I always forget.
but yeah, it's not Leonardo. I don't know. I haven't watched. I mean, strange. Whoa, another snap of oversteer. So it is greasy out there still. The rain looks like it has stopped though. The window wipes have stopped and the rain does seem to have stopped falling. So
Yeah, so it
that will
doesn't
be an
look like
advantage.
don't look like we'll have Sam Roughton on the front row again.
No, he's going to be, say, beaten convincingly if every driver's going to have a sort of somewhat dry but greasy session now. That will be an advantage to them. Yeah, the only thing I know about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is that in the UK we called them hero turtles because the government didn't want the wee kiddies thinking about ninjas. Go figure. As Ralph Vest, you can see the timer on his dashboard. So I look at 2:12.2.
Yeah, that's
But
correct.
Van Oosenen, a 2-minute 09, so that's the first driver under the 2-minute 10s. So fantastic stuff there from Wilbert Van Oosenen in the 420. Not, yeah, it's a funny number. It's not as nice as 69, but yeah, he's going very well. And the Bentley, as you were telling me, Dan, it's a very forgiving car to drive. It can really ride the curbs.
Yeah, you can really hit the curbs. You can even take some of the sausage curbs, whereas most of the other cars, if you go anywhere near a sausage curb, it's just going to try and spit you into a wall.
I mean, it's not quite as bad as how W Series cars handle sausage curbs. Abby Eaton, who you may know from the Grand Tour, she was their test driver after they got rid of that terrible American guy. She injured her neck when her W Series car, which is essentially like a Formula 4, Formula 3 Tartus car, slammed into one of those sausage curbs and launched her car in the air. And it sort of, the shockwave of it sort of traveled up her spine. And she's been with a neck brace for the last couple months, actually. So yeah, those sausage curbs are really, really violent. They're unsettle a GT3 car, but anything lower, like Formula cars, and they are absolutely lethal. It was one of those actually that sent one of the Formula 3 cars launching into the air at the last corner at Monza. I'm trying to think. They don't call it the Parabolica now, do they? They named it Michele
Yes,
Alboreto curve, was it?
something they've definitely been renamed.
I think it was Michele Alboreto. I'm sure the chat will correct us if we're wrong. That's the way to find knowledge on the internet. You don't ask people what the answer is. You put out the wrong answer, and then people will be like, "Actually, it was this," and they'll correct you.
Yeah.
You may notice that Dan and we're not joined by Adam D this evening. He's recently undergone surgery for his foot, hasn't he? His ankle, the bones in his foot that he injured. He's probably high as a kite at the moment on painkillers. But Adam, if you're watching, get well soon. Come back down to earth after you've, been high on morphine or something. And we look forward to having you racing or even in the comms box, don't we, Dan?
We certainly do. He was watching along on the birthday stream on Friday, so we may see him in chat tonight. So Johnny Ashley goes fourth in the only liveried Mercedes AMG, who's now been pushed down to fifth.
Got James Suckling in fourth. Yeah, because James Suckling was our standout driver for one of our standout drivers at Barcelona. He finished convincingly sort of head of the silver class and beating even quite a few of the pro drivers. But Wilbert Van Oosenen, where has this come from? Last week in Barcelona, he finished 16th overall, and he was really down the pack, lower midfield of the silver class, but he's absolutely on fire today. We've got Derek That's, Johnny Ashley is almost half a second up. We've got Peter Jelinek, third of a second up. So we've got some movers still. There's still time out there on the track. I can't see a dry line developing yet, but it is constantly evolving. I don't know if any drivers have put on dry tyre, and I don't think they have an intermediate tyre like Formula One, do they?
They don't. It's just wet and dry tyres for the GT cars. So
That's it.
Sam Roughton in 6th place. That still looks like a good time. He's ahead of a few silver drivers. Now 7th.
Yeah, he's probably sweating buckets in the pits at the moment because he would have noticed the rain stopped coming down, so he's going to be thinking. Oh, a question from chat: are we going to stream the 2.4-hour series?
I believe we will be. I am unsure on that because I, at the moment, am taking part in the 2.4-hour series. So it won't be me doing the stream.
Is Will Dendy driving as well?
I don't think so.
Oh, so you're not going to drive up behind him and scare him into a wall, make him
Unfortunately
bin it
not.
just by the sight of you?
No, we managed to do that at the last round of the Simply Racing Endurance Series. Although that wasn't me driving, that was the team boss.
Sorry to cut across you. Van Oosten's lost his provisional pole position as Johnny Ashley sneaks on by a few tenths of a second up. A great lap. The number 9 Mercedes-AMG GT3 there, really handling the conditions at Suzuka very well. It's very under control. So a good lap by him. Rudolf Stein is he's sort of on par at the moment. Dirk Bofer sort of on par. It's only Thomas Stocks at the moment who's sort of making movements. He's 0.2 of a second up. And that would put him maybe 10th. I think that, he's not going to get out of 2-minute 12s, but as we follow Thomas Stocks now, when you notice his purple Alpine livery, because he works for Alpine, is that right?
That is correct.
And it looks like he outbraked himself a little bit into the Acacio Triangle. He's dropped a little bit of time, so he was 0.2 up. He's now losing time all the time. It was 0.15, then 0.10, then 0.06. He outbraked himself into the Casio Triangle, lost momentum, offline, and he couldn't accelerate quickly enough out the corner, and all the drive down to the line, he was losing time there. As we're with William Black now in another well settled down Bentley, easy to drive, and he's more than half a second up. So we're with Victor Budkov now in the silver and green AMG Mercedes. If it's anything to go by from the other drivers, the AMG looks very settled round Suzuka in these conditions. Mikael1234 says, thank you very much to Dan. So that must be information he was dying to find out all day, and it had been eating him alive.
Yeah. We need to say thank you to Merman MSL for the gifted sub.
Oh, well spot. I didn't catch that because if I've got one screen, I've sort of I can't do what you do, Dan. You've sort of got multiple screens and multiple windows open, and I don't know how you do it, but I think, speak for everyone when we appreciate the effort you go through and sort of putting on a professional show for us. As I think they're watching a Google advert now, or I am on Twitch anyway. I've got an advert for a Google phone.
Yep, I believe that is correct. There's an advert.
William Black goes across the line and moves up to 8th position. So a fantastic effort from him, as their session is already over. The pros should be coming out on track now. They've got 8 minutes to go. So as you can see, driver ladder, or as you may not be able to see because of the Google ad.
And
hey, everyone should be back with us, yeah.
Julian Bell's just popped up into 8th place in silver.
So our driver overall. Our featured driver into 8th position. Last week, of course, he made the mistake of not changing his setup when the race went from a wet qualifying to a dry race. Then he pitted on at the end of the parade lap, and we've got Ben Brown taking a sort of excursion, maybe waving to his fans out there. Yeah, they took a pit stop at the end of the formation lap, which just counts as a DNF. It just thinks you're throwing in the towel immediately. So that was effectively his race over before it even began, and he was complaining of his tires overheating on the warm-up lap. Warm-up lap, parade lap, same thing. With Martin Thorpe now, the car I affectionately refer to as like the Cadbury's caramel car, because it's got the nice purple Cadbury's and then the gold of the caramel. We won't talk about the Cadbury's caramel bunny because that'll probably set off some people who are upset about M&M's losing their shoes. But chocolate's not as then the characters aren't as sexy anymore, so that's a big problem for some people.
But we can talk about what he did in the birthday race on Friday, which was do an hour and a half round Spa in a Jaguar and finish well within the top 15, which is an unbelievable effort considering how old that car is.
Yeah, I don't see in Assetto Corsa Competizione.
Yes. So there's
I didn't realise it had a Jaguar.
Yeah, so it's the Jaguar XKR from the...
that's old.
Yeah, from the early 2010s, I believe it came out.
Wow, I think the only car older than that is the V12 DB9, because I think that's a 2011 car, isn't it?
I think they're both of a similar age.
I mean, they're sort of getting old enough to be called classics now, aren't they? Because I don't know if these cars have any... I don't think they have any hybrid technology in them yet, do they, GT3s? Are they doing any hybrid tech?
I don't think it's planned at the moment. But seeing as road manufacturers are adding that technology to the cars, it won't be too long.
No, but all modern GT3 cars tend to have like V6s or V8s, whereas maybe in the old days they had V12. So they are downsizing them and sort of doing smaller engines and turbos, aren't they?
Yes, they certainly are.
Definitely the trend. Who have we got? Have we got any movers at the moment?
So Jimmy Mansi is just in a 208-135.
Victor Bukov looks like he's going to make some movements, but he needs to find a second to steal. And Martin Thorpe with a 2-minute 7.725. So he is about 3/4 tenths of a second up from Jimmy Mansi. A fantastic effort. Last week, Martin Thorpe finished second, only to Dylan Beeson at Barcelona. And we haven't seen... I'm scanning the driver ladder. I can't see any sign of Dylan Beeson at the moment. Do you have any information on that, Dan?
We can go to him now. He's coming up to...
Still on his outlap as he's driving around. And we found out with just at the closing ends of the Barcelona race, because we all thought, yep, it's a Red Bull themed McLaren, but it actually has a Shadow the Hedgehog on the back of the car, which is meant to be like a dark, edgy Sonic that's like his what's the word, like anti-hero. There we go. So that's interesting, because I didn't expect to see that at all. I don't think he's as fast as Sonic though, because if you want to be the fastest, you want to have Sonic on your car, I suppose. But Dylan Beeson making his way, and we can see a dry line now. So I wonder if
time should drop towards the end.
Yeah, I wonder if he is out on dry tyres now. Be interesting.
There's a certain possibility that they could be on dry tyres now.
These times will really start to come down now. We'll see a drop of about 5 seconds or so, as Jester in the chat goes, Jimbo, which just makes me think of the 80s cartoon Jimbo, which was about an airplane.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to hop in here, also, I set my lap on dry tyres, but I'm not sure if that was actually optimal, because about halfway through my lap, the what's it called? The rain
came back.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it actually did, or if it's just my wipers, which only started working after half of that. But yeah, it was very slippy.
It looks like they're having a slightly easier time of it now. There is definitely a dry line. Martin Thorpe is still on top, and Christian Kelly has moved into second place, displacing Jimmy Mansi. He's put quite a sizable gap on him, but yeah, these times if these last 2 minutes could be pivotal. So this is going to be really exciting stuff, really like Formula One, where they could also just sort of back up a little bit just to make sure they get that last lap in at the right time and be the last across the line, so they get technically the driest line conditions possible. Whoa, Chris Martin, I thought he was going a bit wide there, but he looks like, no, he's made the apex on the second part of the Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, he just popped up into third. Christian Kelly had gone on provisional pole, and Martin Thorpe set an even faster lap. Now Jonathan Seville has gone on provisional pole by 8 tenths.
So and the rain's back. So yeah, Jonathan Seville has set that at the perfect time. He had he would have been the last sort of front runner to have a dry track effectively. I think there's a driver coming up to the Casio Triangle now, and if that is Christian Kelly, he's the last person that could possibly take that pole position back before the track really soaks. So that's Christian Kelly. He might still be able to do it. Who's crossing the line now? There is a car coming across the start finish line now. I'm not sure if that's Viktor Bukov. Not sure, but we better go back to Christian Kelly because he's going to be, and he's lost a lot of time already. Yeah, he lost the 6/10 advantage he had. He didn't have the grip, and the dry line is gone. He didn't have the grip through the Casio Triangle, getting that heavy car slowed down and then turned and then sped back up. And what a shame. So Seville will be breathing a sigh of relief now because that's really worked into his favor. As yeah, the grip has gone. He was a little bit shaky there.
It's really not worked into some other drivers like Ben
No,
Brown.
no. If they've tried to follow,
So Ben Brown's only just
Seville's
popped up
lead,
into 18th.
and Ben Brown's just slid off the track. Well, it looks like he's calling it a day anyway. There's only 45 seconds left, and nobody's up on their times, and I think they're all heading back to the pits. So I'm quite confident if we can get the driver ladder up to the top, I'm quite confident in being able to call today's grid. Jonathan Seville on pole from Martin Thorpe and Christian Kelly, with Chris Martin on second row. From there, Jimmy Mancy down in fifth with Dylan Beeson, last week's winner, Viktor Bukov in seventh, Daniel Chavez in eighth, Ashley in ninth, and Miles Dixon. That rounds up your top 10. From there, it's Wilbert Van Oosenen, Derek Stack, Dirk Botha, James Suckling, Rudolf Stein, Shane Watts, Julian Bell, our featured driver of the week, Ben Brown, who we just saw there at the first corner, William Black, Peter Jelinek, who makes up the top 20. And then from there, it's Sam Roughton, who we did see on the provisional pole. So it's amazing how other drivers were able to, how far he fell down, but he is an AM driver. We have these assessments and everyone's in their class. So everybody gets a competitive experience. 22nd is Van Rooyen. 23rd is Ralph Vest. 24th, Gabriel Samoas. 25th, Lasse Vimen. 26th, Thomas Stocks. Alex Parkin, Alex Shahabi, Alex Depper, Dixon Hurst, Louis Figueira Sr. I apologise for butchering that name. Van der Veen is 32nd, Medina 33rd, David Oller 34th, and Olivier Guerra is 35th, with Beaucamp 36th. But it may, and Jackson is, oh, sorry, we've got a few more. The ladder wasn't updating. Grant Eckett 37th, Jack Morrell 38th, Jim Allen 39th, and at the making up our grid at the back of there is Graham Jackson in 40th place. So 40 cars, 3.61 mile track. How soon are we going to see classes mixing and lapping each other, Dan?
Well, I think, especially if it's, as it looks like it's a wet start, we could have carnage into T1 and cars in the pits probably at the end of lap 1.
Think so. We've got to make sure, the drivers need to make sure as well that the conditions, it looked like they were going to be rainy, so it doesn't seem like they'll have to make any changes. As we wait for the parade lap to start, I'd like to remind you, if you're enjoying this stream on oNiD Racing, you can follow us, you can subscribe. There's 20% off at the moment. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm going to double check what the Twitter is. oNiD_racing. Give us a follow there. We'll follow you back. And we've got 32 people watching at the moment. Apex Vest says, Kunos needs to revert the weather back to pre 1.8. This is ridiculous. Dan, you fill us in on that. What does he mean by that? Is it just the fact that it's raining, or?
I believe it's the settings you can do in the server now. So there is a setting called weather randomness, and it's basically there is a website that you can go on and you can put the server settings in, and then it'll calculate out of 1,000 times the server is run how many sessions would be wet, how many sessions would be wet to dry, dry to wet, or just dry. So
And do you think we should revert back?
I like the new system. So it's
It's getting
a
drivers
lot
out
of
their comfort zone.
a lot of races they do just dry or just wet. It's more interesting if you've got changeable conditions.
Absolutely the test of driver skill as well, if you can adapt your driving to ever-changing conditions, as we should be making our way with the drivers now. They're on the parade lap, they've set off, and they're just making their way through the center S's, and the rain is still coming down. So Seville's got, I say it's an easy job because he doesn't have the spray in front of him. He'll have a clear track, but he is the first car that's going to come into turn one, and he'll need to dictate where his braking point is. If he brakes too early, he could be rear-ended by Martin Thorpe and Christian Kelly. But if he brakes too late, he'll just slide off onto the tarmac and astroturf of turn one and could lose a dozen places. So, yeah, how would you play it, Dan?
Well, as we can see, we're on board with Martin Thorpe. That's the view you get behind one car. So if we now
Doing
switch back
60
to
miles an hour.
we switch back to William Black, this is the
So
view
this-
you're going to get behind a gaggle of cars.
And these cars are going about 60 miles an hour, so this spray will really kick up once they're all at full power, won't it?
It certainly will. So I think, as you said, braking into T1 is going to be key. Also, making sure you're in place for the start so you don't get a drive-through, and doing the right speed and not going too early to avoid getting a drive-through as well.
No, as Adam D would say, absolutely. The 30 of you watching, we'd love to hear your predictions of what's going to happen at turn one. Is there going to be carnage? Who's going to be involved with it? Who's going to get away with it? Who's going to make up the most places? Let us know, and we'll feature you on the commentary. Brightens your day when a commentator or a streamer mentions your comment. So give us all you got, guys and girls out there. Guys, girls, and everyone in between.
So
As you may have seen, sorry, Dan.
Don't know. We're going to follow Johnny Ashley for the rest of this.
Is there a
lap,
particular reason?
Because in round one he managed to put it in the wall even before the race had started. So we're just going to keep an eye on him, make sure he makes it round.
Pep R prediction is turn one, Wilbert Van Oosenen gets into P1. So how what are the odds on that? Maybe 100 to 1 that Van Oosenen can go from 11th to 1st in one corner?
100 to 1 or 200 to 1, something like that.
It's not impossible. It's absolutely not impossible for everyone in front to sort of take each other out. It happens enough in Circuit Superstars, and I've seen it happen in other racing games as well. But yeah, that would be something. Pepper, if you get that right, you're onto something. Go play the lottery or something, because you've clearly got like a gift.
Yeah, you can. Sometimes you can be very lucky. So I was doing a race at Misano last week and qualified 13th, which was last in class. And with the bumps going into T1, 2 and 3, I was up to sit before the end of the lap.
Fantastic. The driver's just coming round the Casio triangle now. And say there is, unlike iRacing, there is no pace car in front of them. It is Jonathan Seville setting the pace. Michael Forbes, stay alongside Michael. Don't think they get any penalty for really. Michael should be staying back though a little bit.
Yeah,
there we go.
He's into position now.
Into place. Yeah, it will tell him on screen, and there'll be the green light, and they'll all have to react. As who's going to react as quickly as they can, and who's going to react fastest. And
it's go.
It is go, 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 go. The 45-minute timer is counting down. It's 9:06 a.m. I'm going to say that's like UK local time. And Jonathan Seville's holding the inside line. Bit of a twitch. Michael Thorpe was on the curb. I thought he was going to get caught out by the AstroTurf, but it looks like most people have made it round turns 1 and 2. Fantastic aerial shots there. We need more of those, don't we? As Michael Thorpe. I keep putting a plural on that. He's tucked in behind Jonathan Seville. Oh no, our featured driver, Julian Bell, it looks like he might have just had a twitch of oversteer and spun it. It was the car. There is a little bit of damage, so he's gone into the back of someone there. We'll try and get a replay of that for you all.
I'll press the wrong button. Here we go.
That's okay. And we're following. Oh, and he's been caught out by one of the Red Bull BMWs that just got an over. That is such a shame because he had such bad luck at Barcelona with the setup change, and he's feel so bad for him. And he's only 15 years old, so he's got sort of a mature head on his shoulders, but he must be quite frustrated with that. And
Yeah, that was
just
very
need to
unlucky.
double check who took him. Just need to double check who took him out.
I believe it's the car he's just passed.
Was it James Suckling? Gonna beat him up.
Yes, I believe it was Suckling.
So James Suckling smashed into a 15-year-old kid and took him out, basically. Like adult bullying kids. How terrible, terrible. But with Alex Putton, no, we're with Christian Kelly now. He's up into 3rd position. Now, he did have a bit of a funny race, the first one, didn't he? Because his pit stop didn't count, did it?
It didn't, but I believe the stewards checked and deemed that he had actually completed a pit stop. He'd stopped for around 8 seconds, which is the minimum stop time. So he
didn't lose his place.
Yeah, they manually adjusted the finishing positions to put him back where he actually finished.
Oh, good, because he had a good drive, and yeah, he's not an amateur. I've raced against him. Christian Kelly is a very he's got brilliant. I can't think of the word I want. He's got brilliant racecraft. He's not the one to make a silly mistake like that. As we come around to complete the first lap, and we had a car facing the wrong way. As Rudolf Stein, Rudolf Stein's facing the wrong way at the Casio Triangle. Another car just cut the corner entirely, but it's easier to. If you don't think you're going to make the corner, you might as well just sort of cut across and take the. Whoa, the NSX. Oh, so I thought the NSX might have touched there, but we still might. Yes. Oh no.
I believe that's Shane Watertutters in the grey NSX.
Yeah, that's the only NSX in the race. So now, what baffles me, he's not moving because he's got an escape road to the right of him, and it doesn't look like he's even trying to get going. Do some of these drivers? Is it possible that they can stall the engine and they have to, like on their button box, hit ignition again?
It's certainly possible to stall it, and even if you have auto start of the engine, it can still stall, and then you have to wait there for the engine to restart itself. Oh
dear! So we've already drama in the first 3.5 minutes of this Japanese 2022 GT3 oNiD Racing Grand Prix. So with Jimmy Mansi now, he's been on the podium both times, and a great little overtake there, making his way past
Dylan Beeson.
Dylan Beeson,
yeah. It looks like he was having some trouble there.
It caught me off there because I thought it might be Dylan Beeson. He's usually up the road, but Dylan Beeson's. It looks like our front runners are struggling a little bit. I mean, Jonathan Seville, who finished 4th last week, he's sort of pulling away with the lead now. He's pulled a 2.6 second gap, but Beeson, Mansi, they've got to. I don't think they can. They can't really fight each other because they're quite evenly matched. They've got to work with each other to move up the field of slower cars. As Jimmy Mansi goes wide, he uses the runoff space rather than sort of try and make the corner. He maybe carried a bit too much speed, and he was on the outer wet line.
I think he got bumped by Miles Dixon.
Oh, and it looks like he's going to get bumped again, though. And that could be a race-ending incident. That was,
yeah, he's had to tow back to the pits there, unfortunately.
If I said that was very naughty of Dylan Beeson, what would you say?
I would agree in the fact that he didn't take enough care to. Sometimes, especially in the wet conditions, it's very hard around those kind of medium speed corners where you're trying to get the power down. I think Jimmy probably just got a bit of wheel spin, and Dylan got a much better drive and just went straight into the back of him.
Is it possible that it could be something like netcode, which iRacing enthusiasts will be familiar with? Does that affect ACC as much?
Not as much.
You wouldn't put it down to netcode?
Quite good. I personally wouldn't put it down to that. I think it's just Miles underestimating how much he was catching Jimmy in front, as we can see a light flash from Christian Kelly behind Martin Thorpe.
That is a shame because Dylan Beeson is he won round 1 and he won round 2. So he's a championship leader, and it looks like he's going to be already out the race. And even if he's going to rejoin, he's not going to be getting many valuable points. As Christian Kelly really hounding the BMW of Martin Thorpe, who looked like he was making his car as wide as possible.
I'd have to correct you there. That was it's Jimmy Mancy that's out. Beeson still running in 8th position.
Apologies, everyone there. Yep, they're both Shadow Red Bull cars, and I got my names mixed up. So, like, a Murray Walkerism. He can see him in his earphones behind him.
As we can switch to Alex Shahabi, who's right behind Ben Brown at 12th and 13th. And,
so Alex Shahabi
holding 11th.
Still in the race. He didn't bin it in lap 1.
3rd in silver class.
Fantastic. Jimmy Mancy's in the chat, and he said, well, that was nice. Jimmy, you're welcome to come into the commentary booth. If you want to come in, talk about what happened, what was going on, vent your feelings or anything, you're welcome to come into the commentary booth. As we're with 38 minutes. Whoa, and that was an ambitious move from Dylan Beeson again.
I think Chavez just had a moment on the outside of the track. I don't think there was any contact. So I think it was just Beeson putting his car on the inside.
I know Shadow's like the anti-hero, but he's not meant to take the other cars out.
I think Chavez just went to the outside on the wetter line and couldn't get the car stopped in time.
Maybe. I mean, these drivers need to be taking extra. I know they want to win. I know where they want to make up places, but it's a 45-minute race. You can't win it in the first 10 minutes. That position ahead of you won't go away. You can attack for that position the next lap. If the opportunity isn't, if it's only like a 30% chance, then it's like, oh, it's a bit risky. Hold off, wait, bide your time. The guy in front might make a mistake as well. So we're seeing some risky maneuvers that they don't need to be made at the moment, especially in these conditions, as people are still sort of getting to grips with racing at full throttle in these conditions. And I know we had rain last week, but it wasn't a wet race, it was just a wet qualifying, so they sort of got away with it there. As we're following Johnny Ashley, and he's having a good race at the moment. He is 3rd in class, and he's in 11th position, and it looks like he's faster than the Porsche of Stack. Is it Derek Stack?
Yes, it is Derek Stack in the Vaseline Racing Porsche.
Jimbo Mancy's. So it doesn't help when somebody doesn't judge the exit and plants you into the pit wall. I mean, Jim Mancy couldn't win in that situation. He was
a passenger there, and it looks like Johnny Ashley has made it past Derek Stack up into P2 in silver.
Yeah, very convincing overtake. He got it done before 130R, as it looks like Ben Brown was on the attack there as well. It looks like he's on the inside looks like he's made it. Ben Brown follows. Whoa! Oh no! A little coming together. It looked like Ben Brown. It looked like his attempt to overtake was by the books. I don't know if it was a case that they tried to go side by side and they just didn't fit through there, or Zach didn't want to give up the place and tried to fight back and it didn't come off, or let's have a look. So they're braking hard now into the Casio triangle. Ben Brown's on the inside. Looks like they're side by side.
And then very similar to the Mancy incident.
A bit of a naughty tap there. It not come off too, but they've gotten away with it, unlike Jimmy Mancy.
Ben Brown's now ahead of Johnny Ashley, so it's not affected him too much. It seems to have affected Derek Stackmore, who's now down in 16th overall.
Johnny Ashley didn't make a mistake somewhere, did he? No, Johnny Ashley's still in front of Ben Brown. On the driver ladder, it says he's in front.
The driver ladder hasn't updated. It only updates on sector splits, whereas my screen updates immediately.
Oh, I see. And you are correct. Ben Brown is ahead of John Ashley. So
Johnny's probably let him through, as Ben's a pro driver and Johnny's a silver driver. So it's better for him to let him through and try and tag onto the back of him and see if he can catch up to Van Oosenen in 9th.
That's right. Welcome, Rolling Thunder 2021. It's good to have you. Yeah, we're all wet. We've got the umbrellas out. No worries. You've missed a there's already been some shocking action. Just talk to Jimmy Mancy about it. He'll fill you in about it, and he'll probably use some colourful language about it as well, as we follow Derek Stack as he's lost 2 places in under 2 laps, and he's already under pressure now from Vimin, but Vimin is part of the pro class, so Stack wouldn't lose anything with Vimin going past, and he might as well let him go past. Thank you very much, Ryan Davies 92, for the follow. 34 of you now. I think that's a higher number than we had last week, and I like to think that you're all here for me. And the fact that there's more people here now that Adam Key isn't here, so
Looks like
it must be
something's happened to Johnny
Derek
Ashley.
hang on, Derek Stack was really wide, and then it looked like something. Oh, Johnny Ashley, yeah, you called it right. We've got a replay. Thank you, Dan. We've got a replay. So, Dan, talk us through what's happened here.
So we're coming up to 130R. Looks like there was a car trying to get out of the way on the inside.
They've done that.
And then looks like Johnny's just lost the back end coming round 130R, unfortunately. So that's put a bit of damage in there. Conditions. And I can see there's a yellow flag out for Ben Brown as well. So when we come out of the replay, we'll go and see what's happened to Ben.
That sounds like a TV show. What has happened to Ben?
He's dropped down a few places, so let's see if we can see what happened on replay. Maybe run wide into T1 like he did in qualifying.
Now, there's a lot of runoff space. He's really coming there fast and hot. He's caught the gravel, which has unsettled the back of the car. We've got another Red Bull BMW there going wide, but they recover. Brem Brown's managed to save it, although he's lost 3.
Yeah, he's now down to 14.
No, so he's lost 3 places, but he's still in front of the Vaseline Porsche. So he's essentially just sort of undone the work from the last couple of laps. Not a calamity, but they will have knocked his confidence a little bit, because you want to be settled in, and it shakes you up when you're making those sort of mistakes. You think, oh no, it could happen any time. If it's a snap of oversteer rather than a slow drift of oversteer, it's much harder to catch. As we're with Alex Depper now. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, I was going to say, as we switch to Alex Depper, who's leading the AM class in a Lamborghini, which, from personal experience, I know it's very bad in the wet.
Stocks
does not like the wet at all.
There.
Yeah, looks like he was almost pushing him along.
Yeah,
Jonathan
I was worried
Seville
he was going to give him a tap.
Sets another purple lap, 209.5.
So he was and now Depper's really defensive. And I guess he's trying to keep Gabriel Samoz behind, because he knows Gabriel Samoz will take advantage when Stocks goes past.
Yeah,
Stocks is in the Bentley and Samoz is in the BMW.
Yeah, it looks like Samoz is catching the pair of them. So as he lets him through, and he's just shut the door. There's Derek Stack has gone off.
Yeah, he's gone round again. So now, what is the 911 like in terms of handling in ACC?
I've not personally driven it, but I hear it is very easy to spin.
Now, they've tried to go side by side there. They pretty much got away with that. Now, he's going to be hard on the brakes. Oh, Alex Parkin, isn't it?
I believe you're correct. Oh, and then he swift retribution there.
Yeah, I think that was... I'm not going to get on my brakes too quickly if you're behind me. You know, you can have a bit as well. I think we've gone to an ad. I don't know how many of them are watching it, but we're back with Derek Stack, and he's wide again, so his handling might be compromised now. He would have taken a bit of damage from back being first the initial contact, but then rolling into the back of Alex Parkin. Welcome back if you've just joined us. There was a little ad break there. I don't know how many of you saw it. We just seen Derek Stack losing a place again to Dixon Hurst. We think his handling might be compromised because he would have taken a tap from Parkin, but then he sort of spun and the car rolled back into Parkin. So that could have affected sort of the diffuser or the rear spoiler, and you will feel that in these conditions. And that's James Suckling sort of facing across the track down in 29th position, I think it was. And I think this is going to happen a lot today, I think. Just getting on the throttle a bit too soon, a bit too aggressively, and a snapper oversteer.
So they're coming around shortly.
This is the center. Oh no! Did he get distracted?
I think he got distracted. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that Lexus impeded his progress, and that is a really damaged front end. I don't suppose we can see that from any other angle, but yeah, would you say the Lexus didn't look like it impeded him, did it?
I think again it was a case of the Lexus was on the dry line, and he went Suckling went onto the wet line.
Whoa. As we've got, is that Beaucamp just
Yes, that's Beaucamp.
cutting the grass? Oh, and he's managed to save it. So
Yeah,
he's just saying nothing. You didn't see that. That didn't happen. You know, when you sort of you're walking down the street and you sort of do a little, you trip a little bit, and then you sort of
yeah.
just try
You
and
just
walk it
style it
off
out.
like nobody saw. That's it. You style it out. Oh, if anybody watching, if you've got questions for Dan or Dan races for Casual Apex Racing. I used to race for Team Fordzilla. If you've got any questions for us, about us, we're interesting people. If you've got any questions about the drivers or anything that's happened, we can fill you in on what you have missed. As Jonathan Seville has pulled out an 11.5-second gap. So it looks like if things stay the way they are, and he is a very consistent driver, it looks like he's going to have this in the bag, Dan.
Yeah, it certainly does, and we can switch to Martin Thorpe, who's managed now to pull out nearly a 5-second gap to Christian Kelly, who was hassling him earlier in the race.
Now, in these conditions, would you want a mid-engine or a front-engine car?
The two cars that I've driven have been both of those styles, and I haven't driven a front-engine rear-drive car in the wet yet, but from my personal experience comparing the two in the dry, I much prefer having a front-engined rear-drive car to a mid-engined rear-drive car.
But you've lumbered me with a Hurricane tomorrow.
Yes, we made that choice a very long time ago.
There's Martin Thorpe coming up to lap. So is this the first bit of lapping we've got now? Jonathan Seville would have lapped them a while ago. Try to see who that is. It could be Jackson, or is it Van der Veen?
We can have a look.
I don't think it's Jelinek. Jelinek has a much brighter Ferrari. It's definitely, yeah.
Not Jackson.
So is it Van der Veen? Was he the first? We're going to cycle through them all. Oh, Jackson's got
a lot of damage.
I didn't know Dog Juice had a team.
I didn't either.
When did Dog Juice start a team? And that was a driver I've been told about, like, oh, you know, there's a story behind the name Dog Juice, but I've yet to be told that. Julian Bell, he's on the move again because he had a spin at the beginning of the race. It looks like he's been into the pits and had that repaired. In iRacing, you get sort of a quick repair. Do the drivers get that in ACC, Dan?
You do not, so you have to sit there and wait. So you can choose whether to do bodywork or mechanical damage or both, but you have to sit there and wait for it. You've got Sam Roughton in the pits.
Got a question from Pep R. Is there a real life timing again, like last time with the pit wall app?
I am not sure. Normally, we get told in advance. I believe there is, so I will paste the link in. I think Nightbot announced it earlier, but I'll put the link in anyway.
Erin Hegarty says, pop over to Willie Black for a wee second. What he's at, so I can say I watched him. So you've told your mate you're going to watch him race, and you're like, well, I saw you for 5 minutes. I count that as I've watched you race. So, you know, I've done my friendship obligation for the day. William Black is in 11th, and he's chasing down Dylan Beeson. No, sorry, tell a lie, he's not. That is a car waiting to be lapped, I think. Is that Ola? Try to see if that's number... No, that's number 100, which would be... I can't... it's Medina. Yeah, Medina. I'm getting used to people's names now. I'm getting better at this. I'm 3 races in, and I'm already better than Crofty. Seville's gap now up from 11 seconds to 13.2 seconds, and Willie Black is being chased down by Ben Brown. Ben Brown is a pro driver. Willie Black is a silver driver. So they're teammates as well. They're both owned racing cars. So hopefully they shouldn't Willie Black shouldn't be holding Ben Brown
Oh
up
no,
at all.
he'll pull over and try and let him through without letting Ralph Vest through. Black is one of his mantras is don't race anyone that's not in your class. So as you see, as soon as he could, he's let Ben Brown through.
Some thoroughly mature driving there, and whoa, it looked like Vest really wanted to try and take advantage of the situation. And we've got another slider back there. Is that Botha or Women?
That is both.
Botha. Yeah. Whoa, and he's going around again. He's enjoying that. He's sort of he's having trouble making. Yeah, even out of Casio Triangle there, I could see it was twitching a little bit, and he's now. I think he's just trying to see where he's going to avoid the spray. Unless his tyres are overheating and he's trying to cool them down. That was the old Formula One method of driving offline. And yeah, he takes far too much speed in. He's on the AstroTurf. There's going to be no grip out there. Erin Hegarty says he's the fiance, so trying to be supportive. So, Erin, do you enjoy sim racing, or you like it because he likes it, and you're being nice, you're being a good fiance? I'm going to Dan's wedding in June, and that's going to be filled with sim races, isn't it, Dan?
There won't be too many, but there'll be plenty there.
There'll be plenty there.
There'll be plenty that you've spoken to before but haven't met yet.
Oh, it's a strange sensation. The last couple of years, the way they've been, I've spoken to so many people on Discord and Zoom meetings that when I went to Motorsport Days Live, people were coming up to me going, "Hey, Cammy," and I was just "Hi, you." As Ralph Vest is off at the Spoon Curve, so
I believe that is contact with Lasse Wiemann. Isn't it? I think.
It sounds. Where is he from? I'm not sure. It sounds. I do it with a V because I assume he's German or something. So I say Wiemann. Now he's. Oh, whoa! I thought that was where the contact was. So. Oh no! He just lost it on his own volition. So he's just sort of spun it round. And even Formula One drivers and Super Formula drivers in these conditions around Suzuka, because it's such a. You notice there's a lot of hills, a lot of up, downs, inclines, declines. There's a lot of places for the water to run up and down, and it's hard to gauge where the grip is. And some drivers will have the Sim 3D sort of rumble pedals sets, which will give them an extra hint of where the grip is and if they're skidding or braking properly. But some drivers won't have that. They'll have much simpler sets. They'll have sort of middle of the range Fanatec or Thrustmaster sets, and some of them, God bless them out there, might even have Logitech sets. As Rudolf Stein was looking for an overtake on Johnny Ashley, but Johnny Ashley keeps his cool. He doesn't make any mad movements to defend. He just sticks to his racing line, and he doesn't want to go off again, Johnny Ashley. Otherwise, that really would kind of be his race over. At the moment, he's in damage control, sort of damage limitation control sort of mode. How many Red Bull Shadow the Hedgehog cars are we going to see going off there, Dan?
Well, we've seen plenty already.
Yeah, I think we've already seen. Well, we might have seen the same one doing it over and over.
Yeah, I think that is Dylan Beeson because he's taken his pit stop.
No!
Oh,
Stein! He gone and fluffed it.
You got to stay out of the way. No, that didn't work.
He stained his reputation.
Yeah, that's a better one.
These drivers, they need to be so gentle with their right foot. They need to imagine there's like an egg under their pedal or something, like a chick, and you're like, don't crush it, do it gently so the little chick has time to get out of the way. If you do it too quickly, you just crush it. And you can't slam your foot on the pedal.
Or they need to turn the traction control up quite a bit.
Is there a point of pride with some drivers where they think, no, I don't need it higher than 2 or 3, and it's like, I won't put it higher because pride?
But there is possibly. Some people just have it in their driving style. So when I drive the Ginetta GT4, in the dry I'll run 0 traction control, but in the wet I'll run at least 3, depending on how wet it is.
Oh, I've been running like 5 or 6 in the dry. God damn. But that's the Lambo, and I'm trying to fling it around Imola chicanes, and I can't.
Yeah, personally in the Lambo I run 3 traction control.
Erin Hegarty in the chat, by the way, I want to ask, since you said fiance, when is your big day? Let us know, big it up, talk about it. Everyone from the racing community might just storm the wedding and congratulate you all. as we follow Lassie Vimin now with SSR Motorsport in the BMW. No, we're not. We're following Alex Shahabi in the Bentley, and he is still running in 13th place, and he's one of the few drivers out there, because the pit window is open. There's only 5 minutes left of it, but he's one of the few drivers who have made a pit stop. Other drivers include Dylan Beeson and, is it Thomas Stocks?
Yes, that's correct. That's Tom Stocks. It looks like JB has just set the fastest lap of the race. As the track is
JB?
now damp.
Our Julian Bell, our featured driver, Dan.
That is correct.
Ah, bless him. I think he is the youngest driver out there, isn't he?
I think that is correct.
He's 15 years old. Erin Hegarty says the 9th of September 2023. If you're over in Ireland, feel free. When people say Ireland to you, Dan, do you always think, oh crap, do they mean Republic of Ireland or Northern Ireland? When people just say Ireland, I don't know which they mean.
No, I'm not sure. I think.
Whoa! Dylan Beeson really got a wiggle on there. He slammed the brakes on to make sure he didn't go up the...
Massive dive bomb.
I don't think it was a dive bomb. I think it was that Johnny Ashley braked early and it caught Dylan Beeson off guard. So you know when you panic brake and veer to the side to avoid an impact, as Johnny Ashley's really ferociously coming back at him. 2 wheels on the grass. There's no need for that, Johnny. You've already spun it once today. Don't do it again. Having 2 wheels on the grass in the wet is a great way to spin it again. Erin, is that the Republic of Ireland or Northern Ireland? And I'm always worried to offend with that sort of question, because, you know, they'll turn around and go, well, I said Ireland. It's obvious what I meant. And I've just offended more people with my accent. But I am part Irish. My grandparents are Irish.
It's a good effort, an Irish accent. I think we're going to go back to the racing. I think we're either going to see a lot of people forget to pit, or everyone's going to dive in the pit at the last second.
Oh,
no! I can see what people are doing.
I think they're waiting for the weather.
Yeah, to see if they can put dry tyres on, which I don't think they're going to be able to.
Oh, Erin's threw a curveball. They live in the north, but they're getting married in the Republic. Is that just so you can have Europe? No, I was going to say that's so they can have European passport. No, it would be, because your name will change. You'll have to update your passport, and then you'll be able to have a European passport. Is that why? Who is this again? We've got in the Apple Mac. Morel in the sort of 1984 Apple Mac. Oh, so that's what they call a tank slapper in the business, isn't it, Dan? Is that Tupac on the side of his car?
I believe it is.
Oh yeah, Tupac. He was the head of Apple, wasn't he? Yeah. Oh no, and then he's having a merry-go-round there again.
And he's finally pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, he's very lucky nobody was coming around there. He had a lot of free time to just merry-go-round it.
And I can see on my timing screen there is a lot of people in the pits.
So there's 1 minute 40 left of the pit window.
Yep.
I think
they're going out the pits.
They didn't want to put wet tyres on just for it to stop raining in the last minute.
We've got the leading 3 in the pits now.
Just imagine the pit crew are there. They're invisible. They're on their knees going, you know, all that. That's a great sound.
The drivers can see it on their screen, but unfortunately, I think it'd be too taxing for us to be able to see that on stream.
Virtua Racing did it in like 1993, a virtual pit crew, but we're in 2022 and we still don't have virtual pit crews.
Well, and it would look weird, especially when the cars can drive through each other.
Maybe they're going to say like, oh, get it on PS5 now with pit crews.
Right,
maybe that's the way they're going to sell it.
They did tease a trailer
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Did you notice any graphical improvement of the PS5 version?
I think it's going to be similar graphics to the PS4 version, but it will probably be allowed more cars on track. Because on the PS4 and the Xbox One version, you're only allowed 20 cars on track in multiplayer. Yes.
Oh, and we've got a bit of a gaggle now. Cars coming out the pits, holding up William Black. So that was a Merc. Would that have been Ola? I can't quite catch his number. No, I don't think it was Ola. But it could have been Medina.
Like a lapped runner. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Medina. Medina was in a bright silver white one. Or Ashley. I'm not sure. No, it wasn't Johnny Ashley. No, I'm not sure. But William Black up into, it says 4th position, but on the ladder it's 6th. And Daniel Chavez is our unlikely leader at the moment.
Yeah, and he's gotten to pit. So he's good. He may as well stay out now. Can he still do it this lap?
He can't do it this lap, can he? It's not like practice
you have to do it within the time period.
No, unlike qualifying, you can't. It's not end of the time period. and then finish your lap.
So we've got some
if you're on
cars
the other
that
side.
have managed to pit. They're getting a bit close on the pit exit.
Yeah, Jelinek, they're going round the outside, I think, of the Red Bull Ferrari of, would that have been Jackson? No, I'm not sure. Erin Hegarty's come back. No, we have Irish passports anyway. Now, does she? Oh, she means Republic of Ireland that time, doesn't she?
Yes, I believe so.
So that means, yeah, they've got the sort of benefits of Europe and being able to travel around. So, Erin, wait, who's her fiance?
William Black.
So she will become Erin Black, I suppose.
Possibly. It depends.
Or Erin Hegarty Black, yeah.
Yeah. As William Black is in fourth. As
he's making her proud, but he's not pitted, so he's done and fluffed it up, Erin.
But all he needs to do to win the class, which is an oddity of ACC, is as long as he stays, say for example, on the lead lap, and everyone else in silver class is on a lap down on the leader, he will win the class. Because although you get a 130-second time penalty, it won't then put you onto the next lap. So it'll only put you to the last classified runners on the lead lap, for example.
And whoa, Jonathan Seville, there, our race leader, getting a slide on as he was being held up by back markers there, and he actually started facing the wrong way. Now he had a huge lead, so I don't think he'll lose the lead from this. But let's have a look. So he's in the slipstream of Black, who's running in fourth. The Lamborghini I thought was letting Seville pass, but he chopped across in front of him to avoid the 911. Seville wants to get past these cars quickly. He's right behind, and he's just lost a bit of the. So, do you lose aero when you're following a car that closely in ACC? Because it does happen. It did happen in R Factor 2.
You do, not to the extent it does sometimes in R Factor 2, but you still do. But as we can see, the 3 of the top 4 haven't pitted.
Now, Christian Kelly got away with it because he did pit, but it didn't register. These drivers haven't pitted. And Morel says, I missed my pit box and got disqualified.
That's probably trying to reverse into the pit box.
So it disqualifies you for... You can't reverse in the pit lane?
No. You can a couple of meters, but as Daniel Beaucamp's in the pits now, but that's too late, unfortunately, for Daniel Beaucamp.
What is it Martin Brundle says?
A day late and $1 short.
Yep, so that pit stop's a day late and $1 short. Sorry, Beaucamp. Julian Bell's got a purple, so he's still holding the fastest lap. Because
he certainly is.
Featured driver is still holding the fastest lap, and he's down in 22nd position.
Yeah, so he's made his way up. So Mose doesn't look to have made a pit stop either, but also got an SG30. So maybe he missed his pit box and then sped in the pit lane as well.
Oh, so that's it. Yeah, that's our first
Jim
stop
Allen
go.
looks to be in some kind of strife.
Strife, that's a word I don't hear too much. A little nice vocabulary there, Dan. So yeah, he's in the slipstream of the Lexus, and
I think it's the curb he took on the inside has just spat him wide and then round and into the wall.
Bit of a, again, just a bit of a twitch. Tried to correct it, and it just flung him out the other way. Which is, and then again, heavy foot, lead foot. You don't. I think that looked like full throttle. Like you need to build it up gently in these conditions. Erin's happy as long as Willie Black stays on track. At Rhymes.
Currently in 4th position, so it looks like he's
he's well out in front in class.
Yeah. But so as long as he can stay on the lead lap and hopes Van Oosenen gets lapped at least once, he will take the class win, even with the 130-second penalty that he's going to get dished out at the end of the race. That
sounds cheeky because it's, I guess, technically in the rules, but sort of against the spirit of the rules, isn't it?
Yeah, it's if the game could put you back 130 seconds and then put you onto the next lap, it would work well. But at the moment, it can only put you back 130 seconds. It won't put you back a lap, for example, because a lap here is 2 minutes, so it should 130 seconds should put you a lap down, but it doesn't.
No, 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes is 120 seconds.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, currently the fastest lap is a 2:08, it would literally just put you a lap down from where you were before.
So it depends if he's pulling a gap on Van Oosenen or if Van Oosenen is catching.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell at the moment. Is it possible we can see a direct difference between Willie Black and Van Oosenen rather than the next car?
I will
believe in
see
you,
what
Dan.
I can do.
I believe in you, Dan. That very interesting. We've got 9 minutes left, and he's got 9 minutes to pull out as much of a gap as possible. Fantastic! Look at Dan. Really good at this. So I need to inspect this now. Van Oostenen's made he's made his pit stop, so it's a little bit harder to tell. But so Willie Black's gone faster in lap 9, but then Van Oostenen was faster on lap 10. It's hard to tell at the moment, and it's saying minus.
So over the last 3 laps, with the pit stop, it's added quite a bit of time to Van Oostenen. So we can check this later, probably say in the next couple of minutes, and look at the last 3 laps and see what the difference is. Sorry.
Yeah, when they've got some more flying laps behind them.
If you look at the last, they've both done a lap now. It does look like William Black is slower than Wilbert Van Oostenen.
Oh, interesting. And so Chavez and Bukakov, they're going to lose their sort of places on the podium, won't they?
They certainly will. So they'll go back. They'll be ahead of William Black, but they will be at back of the lead lap. Dylan Beeson looks like he's taken the fastest lap.
Fantastic. Last week's winner is taking the fastest lap. Martin Thorpe can generally take it easy. He doesn't need to fight Chavez or Bukakov, does he?
No, he certainly doesn't. So he can just catch them. Hopefully they don't get in the way. I mean, at the moment he's 15 seconds behind Bukov, so he's probably not going to catch them. So as long as Harvey doesn't catch from behind, which the gap is around 19 seconds. Seville is very close to Shahabi, and Beeson's very close behind. Yeah,
that Shadow the Hedgehog car's really looking around trying to get around the outside of the Casio Triangle, just sort of putting his car in different positions to try to distract Seville there. Hopefully Seville's not going to get a punt from behind. And he's really looking after that inside line. Wow, who's going to bail out first and move her to the left? Dylan Beeson moves left first. He's going to try and and Seville goes wide. Seville's gone very wide, and he's now behind the Lexus as well. He hasn't spun, he's back on track, but Dylan Beeson, great driving, and just kept the pressure on. Can Jonathan Seville come back at him? He's got 6.5 minutes to do it. 39 of you watching now, thank you very much. This stream is sponsored by simrace247.com, sim stuff, and of course for all your sim racing computing needs, CAD Computers, which is brought to you by our technical expert Dan Hyde.
Shane Watts is less than a second behind Van Oostenen for second in class currently.
It's going to come down
Silver.
It's going to come down to the wire for. Oh, I thought for a minute there, as the stream slowed down for a moment, I thought he was having a slide on or something, but we need to get that name of his corrected. But yeah,
we can.
And it looks like the rain has stopped again.
Yeah, it looks like the rain stopped. You can see at the top of the screen that its track is greasy, and there's no more predicted rain for the rest of the race. Track temperature of 20 degrees and an air temperature of 18 degrees, and a 1 km/h wind that is currently changing direction. We can go to Dixon Hurst, who's leading the AM class in the ancient V12 Vantage.
The Relic is storming away with it at the moment.
As Julian Bell, we're going to switch to him as he's just set the fastest lap of the race, a 2:07.6, down in 21st position.
Wow, what is this kid on? I mean, it's such a shame that he was punted round like the first corner, because it'd be amazing to see how far up the field he would be, because he's very, very quick. He'd be up there, and do you think he'd be in the top 10? He'd be near there.
He'd be somewhere around Van Oostenen, at least, if
no
not
doubt.
Further ahead.
no doubt, and it was of no fault of his own. I say because he's 15. I assume he lives with his parents still. His parents, hopefully watching, must be very, very proud of him because it seems like a promising esports career. He could go on to get his national B if he's in the UK. No, he's in Sweden, isn't he? But he's got to
Yes.
get whatever the equivalent racing license is out there. They also do a lot of rallying, but he has a lot of potential, and he seems like a smart, mature lad with a mature head on his shoulders. And I wish him all the best for his future, whether he does racing stuff or not.
As I've switched to Christian Kelly, as he's just gone nearly half a second quicker, down in 8th position.
It's a feel-good story when a 15-year-old goes fastest.
Yeah. So what I'm quickly going to do is run through the top 3 in each class. So
That would be brilliant, Dan.
We've got Martin
I am about
Thorpe.
a second up on this lap, but I invalidated, unfortunately.
Keep quiet, you're racing, concentrate.
So we've got Martin Thorpe in the lead for AM, and then as the drivers in front are going to get a penalty, so we'll skip over those. Unfortunately, we'll pop back to those later. You've got Shahabi in second and Beeson in third. Although, as I say that, Seville has gone up the inside at Spoon Curve and made the move stick even. Sorry, it looks like there has been a little bit of contact between the two, but he's now. Seville is now up into third in class. A net third in class, I should say.
Anyway, I'll let you continue with their top 3s.
Now, I believe, even with the penalty, William Black will take the win in silver.
He's
gone very wide.
Now is he?
Is he going to let Shahabi through? I think he's slowed down enough. He's probably going to let all 3 of those drivers through.
I don't think he wants to take any risks now because he knows he's got a big gap and he wants to make his fiancée proud, no doubt.
And then we've got Van Oosenen in second.
So this is so they were heading down the start-finish straight.
So he's not. So I think William Black is probably going to drop back quite a bit with how quick these top silver guys are. They're going to be on the lead lap.
Well, it looked like Willie Black just got passed by Seville.
Yeah, so
he has been. So yeah, they're on the same lap, aren't they?
Yeah.
Willie Black and Van Oosenen.
So we've got Van Oosenen in the net lead, Shane Wattatuters in second, and Tom Stocks in third.
I'm just looking at the map, try to find number 5, which would be sorry, not number 5. I'm looking for number 11, which would be Willie Black on the little map. But it's quite tough because all the numbers sort of overlay with each other. But there he is. He's just gone under the bridge.
Yeah. So yeah, they're definitely on the same lap.
As Van Oosenen's just going through the center S's, so there's not a big enough gap. Sorry, Erin. Sorry.
So then we'll drop down. Oh, sorry.
You can embarrass him with this story, at the wedding, like after the wedding. What is it, like the party afterwards?
The reception.
That's the word. There's a long. I haven't socialised much the last 2 years.
Because it looks like Stain's been in a little bit of trouble again. So we're watching a replay.
Oh no. Oh. Whoa!
Ooh, that's like
that didn't go down how I expected it. That Porsche just sort of came in and I believe the kids say he yeeted him. Do the kids still say that, chat? Do they still say yeeted?
I believe they do. I mean, we're now going to have a look at the AM class. So Dixon Hurst is in the lead with Alex Depper in second. And I believe David Oller in a net P3 in class.
Is it possible to follow our pro leaders? Because we've got less than half a minute to go. So they are either on the last lap or they will be coming round to start the last lap. Maybe head to Thorpe.
We've got...
oh no, Seville!
We cut to that at the right time. Seville had just got past Shahabi.
And then just got... Seville's not having a good... He's lucky he's not further back. He's had several spins.
We'll try and watch that as a replay from Shahabi's point of view.
And I didn't see the other McLaren of not Ben Brown, 53.
Beeson.
Beeson. He was just following. He just followed.
Yeah, it looks like
Jahabi
Beeson's
through.
got ahead as well.
Because I'm just checking the results of the last race, and I don't remember having. Oh yeah, Dylan Beeson was our winner last week. For some reason, I was getting Mancy and Beeson mixed up with each other.
Martin Thorpe's got a relatively large lead, around 17 seconds. But
oh my goodness, Seville.
We'll find a replay of that.
Seville's Christmas has come early. He would have thought that position.
Christian Kelly's up to second in class.
Fantastic. We better get back to the leader because they're going to be coming across the line any minute now. But was this brought on by Shahabi?
We'll soon find out, hopefully.
Yeah. Daniel Chavez crosses the line. Yeah. Oh, very not. Do you think he's been paid off by Jonathan Seville to do that? Chavez crosses the line first, as does Bukov second.
But as you can see, they've got
a 130-second penalty. So I think we can safely say Martin Thorpe is your winner today, who finishes 18 seconds behind.
So we'll just have to wait for that to shuffle itself round. But yeah, that's Christian Kelly in second.
In fourth. Oh, sorry, in second. Second.
And then Seville takes third.
Very lucky there, and Dylan Beeson very unlucky.
Yeah, William Black has taken the win on the road in silver, but looks like Van Oosenen, is certainly going to come through ahead after the penalty.
Yeah, so don't forget, Erin, you've got to tease him about that. Jimbo Mancy says, "Oh dear, lovely rejoin as well," which probably was that regarding Seville being sort of spun round?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Wilbert Van Oosenen coming across the line. That would be 9th overall, and it looks like he'll take the win in silver after the penalty's been applied to Willie Black. Is that, wouldn't you say?
I would agree with that. You've got Shane Watts coming across the line, and then Thomas Stocks a few seconds behind for rounding out the podium. And then we
Willie Black.
We've got Damien Hirst in 24th, who's taken the flag.
Oh, Jimmy Mancy was talking about Beeson's rejoin.
Yeah, and then we've got
Alonso.
Alex Depper in second, and David Oller find in third in AM. So that was certainly some exciting racing at the end there.
Yeah, I'm just typing. I'm saying, Jim, come join us in the comms, because Jimmy's been a consistent podium finisher, and he would be on the podium today, I'm almost certain. And it is criminal how he was taken out so early in the race as well. I'm be very surprised if he doesn't take that to the stewards to have investigated after the race. Dan, talk us through how the steward process works in the oNiD series.
So you'll fill in a form, and you'll need to take some clips from your replay, or if you haven't got the replay, the admin make the replay available to yourself, and then you can download that to your computer. You can clip out the offending incident, you then submit it to the stewards, and then the panel of stewards will then make a decision on which party was at fault or whether it's a racing incident.
What do you have a sneaky suspicion if you had to predict the outcome of that?
I would lean towards it saying it may be a racing incident, personally.
Because it was just he just sort of drove into the back of him, but it will come down to looking at the telemetry a little bit, looking at if there was wheel spin, watching the engine revs to see if there was wheel spin, to see if one car. That's why Mancy was sort of slower out the corner, as it were, and the other car maybe got better grip. So that is what the stewards will be listening for and looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
just going to see if we can get some of the winners in the comms pod.
Well, we've got Julian Bell, who was setting fastest laps out there. So we've got Julian Bell with us. Julian, are you there?
Yes, I am. I was, in the end, I looked at the fastest lap, and my fastest lap, and it was about half a second apart, but unfortunately I got very, very held up by a back marker on the last lap.
And you probably heard us talking about it, but it was a criminal shame that you were spun round on the first lap because we both think you would have been up fighting for a top 10 position.
Yeah, I wasn't spun out. I think it was a car. We were three wide coming out of T1, and the car on the outside lost it, slammed into the car next to me, which slammed into me. Gave me some damage, wasn't too bad. But then coming out of 130R, I was alongside an AM car, and there was a car standing still in the middle of the track, and the AM car went to avoid it and just slammed right into me, which put me in the wall and gave me 30 seconds of damage, which I had to fix. Then when I got out, I did a few laps, and then I got spun again.
Dan, were you this calm when you were 15 years old after you'd been cheated out of a good result?
Certainly not. Yeah, it's a great drive to get back up to where you did, considering the amount of incidents you've had in the race.
Yeah. Back in my day, we were playing Toka Race Driver. No, we probably were actually back then. Yeah, back when I
Yeah,
was
we
16,
probably were.
15. Also in the studio with us is he finished third on track, but because our top two finishers forgot to pit and were hit with 130-second pit stops, we've got Martin Thorpe. Martin Thorpe, congratulations on your first win in the oNiD Racing GT3 series. How was it out there for you?
It was difficult. I'm gonna have to start with an apology to Depper because I think I cost him the win in Am. I completely misjudged the closing speed into Degner and I spun him, so apologies to him. But it was yeah, super tough. Slightly the rough
Oh,
couple of them tyres at the pit stop.
well, at least you made a pit stop. A lot of drivers out there forgot to do it. Willie Black was another offender who was hit with a 130-second penalty. So, it is it easy to forget to make a pit stop out there? Do you think?
Well, the track was always changing, and because it's quite a long lap before you realise that you haven't got enough time to come round and do your pit stop. So if you're not keeping an eye on it, then yeah, it can be, especially if you're in the middle of a battle as well.
And it is a long lap. It is over 2 minutes a lap
Yeah, we
in
were
the
doing
even
two
in the dry.
tens in the wet there.
Yeah, it seems
How are
that.
you? Oh, sorry.
Always going out. It seems that you managed to stay out of trouble, and that was the key to winning the race today. Is the other guys that have been at the front in the previous round seem to have a lot of bumps and crashes.
Yeah, qualifying P2 helped me no end because the gap that the three of us had after a couple of laps was quite good. So we just sort of could keep moving away, didn't get into any of the battles. Kelly did pop past me 3 laps or so in. He was quicker at that point, which is fine. I was happy enough to let him go. And then he had a spin a couple of laps later, so I got back by him. But yeah, it was just keeping out of trouble is the main thing in these sorts of races.
Yeah, you
And
seem to have Christian Kelly behind you at the start pushing you along, but then you managed to build a gap.
Yeah, I think it was depending on how you had the tyre pressures. I'd set mine up a little bit so they'll come in, say, a third of the way through the race when the line was drying up. So I did struggle a little bit at the beginning.
Dan, is it before we talk to other drivers and keep talking with Martin Thorpe, of course? Is it possible to have the driver results on screen?
I will see what I can do.
Legend, thank you very much. Stick around, Martin. Anyway, we've also got Dixon Hurst with us. Dixon, how was it for you out there? It was a lot of people were going doing 360 spins out there.
Yeah, it was pretty wet, and the V12 Aston's a handful to begin with, even on a good day. But it got a little scary at the end there. The way those tires were getting a little cherry red, but it was a good day.
A good day, yeah, a good day in the office for you then.
Yeah, I mean it's always challenging when it rains like that. And Suzuka is a very technical track and very unforgiving, so you really got to be on your toes. And I definitely need a drink of water after this race today. That's for sure.
And one of our viewers on the Discord chat, sorry, on the Twitch chat, was saying that we should sort of revert back to pre 1.8, so we don't have the sort of changeable random weather. How do you feel about that? Are you a fan of the changing weather, or do you prefer just solid dry or solid wet race?
Well, I've for quote unquote gaming, I've even done flight sim, and I really like the way they do it. You can even farm in real weather. I wish if Kunos could get that kind of integration into it. That would be really cool. I know some other places I've been to actually use like a real weather, so at least you can forecast. As long as you know what's coming, then I don't mind what weather they throw at us. But at least if it's predictable and you can forecast it, then I'm good with that.
Oh wow. I presume you're in California with your username saying CA.
Almost same population. I'm in Canada.
Oh, I apologize. Canadians hate being mixed up for Americans. It was just the CA bit that got me. I was going to ask you what the weather's going to be like for the NASCAR at the LA Coliseum, because I think that's happening today, isn't it? I don't know if Canadians follow NASCAR.
Oh, we do. We do. We have it up here.
When you're not watching ice hockey, it's the NASCAR.
That's right. So
That
that'd
was
be good.
terrible of me. That's
It's all
terrible
good.
racial stereotyping of me.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
It's all right. I've got a cup of tea here because I'm British.
So do I.
Thank you very much, Dixon. Stick around. I mean, you were welcome, Martin, Julian, Dixon. You were welcome to interject. But we've also got Van Oosenen. How was it for you out there?
It was really, really tricky.
Did
Because-
you have any spins?
No, I frankly I didn't.
No, I had a good race, thank you. I drove perfectly.
Yeah. Well,
The suggestion that I would spin is offensive.
well, about that. No, but I mean, like, I had a really good start. Johnny had a bit of bad start, I think, because
Yeah, but
like
that's Johnny.
before the first corner, I already was like past him, next to him. So I came into that, and then I just could roll away, and then the pit stop was really, really tricky because I was really thinking like, okay, I pitted like the last second or the last lap that I could. Then I checked and I said like, yeah, if I go to dry tires, what do I do then? Like, what is the weather gonna do? Of do I go and stay on the wets and take that 30 seconds with me? But
yeah.
in the end, I choose to get to the dry tire, and that picked up quite good for me. Like in the end, I gained like 2 to 3 seconds on
Wow, yeah.
on who was in P1 again? Who was I chasing?
sure.
That didn't pit.
There's 40 of you out
It
there.
was,
I can't remember.
William
you all.
Black was
William
in the
Black,
lead,
yeah.
but he hadn't pitted.
He's disappointed his fiance massively, I suspect now.
Oops, sorry.
Venison, do you know Pep R?
Yep, that's my mate.
Do you know what he said? We were putting predictions out about what would happen at turn 1, and he has so much faith in you that he believed that you were going to be in the lead of the whole race after corner 1.
Well, I think he got the jackpot then.
Well, you made one. You passed one person, but you didn't pass 11 people.
No.
We
But,
thought.
like,
I mean,
it was a good race, and he's always like watching me and a kind of ish co-driver. Like I hate when I'm in the heat of something and I need to talk, then my lap times go down like 2-3 seconds. I need every cell that I have in my brains to race like quick and on my limit. But he knows like by now, like he just says something small and I already know like what's going on, and we getting played into each other, and he's like basically my co-driver.
your spotter.
Yeah, you're my spotter.
Have you ever sort of shouted at him like, "Leave me alone! I know what I'm doing."
Oh yes. Shut up. Yeah, that's what it felt all sometimes. But
Before we go, was there anything anybody wanted to say that they didn't get a chance to say? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
I just want to say that Dixon Hurst, you're a bloody legend for driving the old Aston.
I just love the sound.
That's what we were saying in the commentary. Yeah, we were saying like, oh, the newer cars are all V6s and V8s with turbos, but that's a V12, isn't it?
Yeah, and I do find it a bit of a beast once you get used to the gearing on it. First gear is pretty deep, so you got to be really used to that. But it can really get going on the straights once it starts really letting go. So
Yeah, I have the same issue in the new Aston as well. In the first race I stalled it on the grid because the thing wouldn't go in first gear.
So that's an unusual one. Well, thank you very much, all of you, for joining. It's a shame Jimmy Mancy didn't want to join us because he was straight in the chat after he got punted into the pit barrier, and that was
Yeah.
his race effectively over. So,
That was
Dan.
me nearly dead as well. I nearly punted him in it to again. He came into the like straight in front of me. I had to weave off.
Oh, Dan, how have you enjoyed your evening?
Oh, it's certainly been a fantastic evening of racing, acting throughout the field, and great to see some new winners.
Yeah, we'll dedicate this race to Adam D, who couldn't be with us in the commentary booth. As we said, he's probably high as a kite on morphine or other painkillers after his metatarsals surgery. So hope you're getting better, Adam. Keep well. I've been Cammy Sturch. That's been Dan Hyde from Canon Computers, doing the cameras and sort of doing the job of a director, cameraman, sort of replay editor, video, everything. So he's been doing a multi-person job. Thank you very much. The stream's been sponsored by simrace247.com, Sim Stuff, and Canon Computers. I'm going to throw in as well. I'm Cammy, and I run Go for the Gap on Etsy, which is Motorsports Prints. I didn't ask permission to say that, but I'm just going to ask for forgiveness. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the chat, and good night. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and have a good Monday.